Right, all good to go?
Yes, yeah, I'm excited, Duffman.
Welcome to the latest This Week's Acca podcast, sponsored by Sky Bet Acca Freeze. Tom, Jake and Jimmy with you to run through the schedule. Coming up on this episode then, it is seemingly football fight night for some reason as we switch to becoming boxing promoters for a while. We'll also, of course, picking out 5 teams for success at around 22-1. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to ensure that you never miss an episode. And remember to keep it fun, never bet more you can afford. This podcast is 18+. Please gamble responsibly. Last week's Acca came incredibly close to winning, and it was probably the one game I think most people would have been confident on. Jimmy, take us back 7 days-ish.
Yeah,
What the hell happened?
Villa Ipswich, Sheffield United sneaked past Luton, that was in.
1-0.
Stocky rallied late, 2-0. Wigan. There were another one. Oh, topsy-turvy game, Leyton Orient. We're 2-0 up. Lincoln brought it back to 2-2, and then they snatched it late. So, close.
Very close.
Yeah, we were just saying Alex Palmer had a worldy save right at the death. Liam Delap called it the greatest save he's ever seen with his own eyes, which is high praise. And it cost us a pretty penny or two. But that's football, isn't it, Duffman?
That is football. You're also saying something about Alex Palmer before as well that wasn't related to the save. Do you like to share?
Have you seen his pearly whites?
I have not.
They are unbelievable. We were on Match of the Day, and they are so white. He's got a lovely smile. Expensive, I bet. But I didn't know, has he ever played in Turkey?
Not too sure if he's played in Turkey, but yeah, you show me a picture and they are very, very white. I'd like to know what he uses.
Whoa, yeah, I've just got a picture of it. The really white teeth of the Ipswich players celebrating after the game. That is, they are white, aren't they?
Yeah.
Callum Phillips is the same.
Maybe that's why Villa missed that late chance. They were just dazzled by his smile.
Maybe they were. I made it 3 Accas in a row where of the weekend ones where none of the teams have actually lost. With the 20-1 winner, 11-1, 3 wins and 2 draws. The other one we did was 14s, went off at 11s, 3 wins and a draw, so incredibly close on that one. Do you want to do comments, or are you not bothered because it's,
Everyone's been so damn kind since we've been getting winners. I was just looking, when was the last time we actually tipped a loser? Like an actual losing team. None of the last 17 picks plus the last 21 picks have all not lost.
And then you've got, if you count the midweek ones as well, January the 29th, you have to go, January, so our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last 5 Accas, both midweek and at the weekend, have not had a team actually physically lose the game in that. But that's irrelevant because a draw is still a loss, so it does not matter.
Don't get smart with me, boy.
Okay, sorry.
No losers. Yeah, Mr. Dave China, the only comment of note really, weren't it, Jake, was we just don't know if he said it before the game played or not.
It says 6 days ago, so in theory, if you go 7 days would be last Thursday, so 6 days would be Friday, so he would have said it before the game. And what did he say, Jim?
I see a shock Ipswich draw to ruin it. Other 3 look good. My 17-1 Acca Sheffield United, yes. Orient, yes. Blackpool, I think so.
Drew.
Stevenage, I don't know.
They lost.
And he added Chesney in there for 70-1. So Dave China absolutely nailed the Ipswich game. And we got a request from Liam Maxwell, 69, 28. Guys, see for the midweek Accas, could you start doing a YouTube short with the selections or some sort of community post, please?
Possibly, yeah.
No, basically.
No.
We did respond to it, I believe. I think team put one out there that it is basically available on the website. It is, you have to log in, but it is free to sign up.
What? And you have to read?
You have to read. It's on a graphic. You barely have to read. So that's on that one. But don't worry, they'll be midweek. Not all the time, but worth checking the Sport Life website. And when there's a significant amount of games, there's a good chance that there is a midweek Acca on there. Weekend though. Go on.
I want to just take a little bit of a segue here because we have a former hockey player on the desk. Did you see the hockey fights at the weekend?
Oh, Canada, USA, yeah.
That was sensational.
What a sport.
3 seconds in, gloves off, helmet off. Let's have a full on.
3 fights in 9 seconds. Yeah. I think politically charged would be the word. Because obviously, USA have been saying some things about Canada.
Yeah, just a few.
In the old news. The Canadians then booed the US national anthem, which then caused the scenes at the start where everyone was annoyed. And apparently the US team had spoke about the possibility of this happening before the game anyway. They did absolutely nail it. And depending on when you're listening to this podcast, so it's a tournament. The NHL did it to replace their All-Star game because it was crap. Nobody's watching it. They did this to replace it. The four nations are Finland, Sweden, Canada, and the US as well. If you're watching this on Thursday and you fancy a late night, it is the final tonight, I believe. Let me quickly find it.
Is it
1 a.m. in Boston. The USA play Canada.
lovely stuff?
Watching that for a little repeat.
Have you got anything in line for that in your back pocket?
Betting wise,
Yes.
let me have a little look while we're doing it, and I'll just deliver it.
I was just gonna, the best
asked
thing
about
about that
that,
is anyone who's not watched hockey before, the referees just let them scrap.
Yeah, you get 5 minutes and you back out.
Yeah, they let them scrap until they're like grappling on the floor, then they separate.
Full-on fist fights got 5 minute fighting, 5 minute fighting, 5 minute fighting, 5 minute fighting. So 5 minutes into the game, they're both back out.
Genius.
All of it back out. Don't do it again.
It made me think: which two footballers would you like to see go at it like that? If the referee was just like, "Yep, you two have a scrap then if you're falling out." Because the obvious one that sprung to mind was Haaland and Gabriel. I'd like to see them two have a go because I think it'd be quite an even match.
Okay, you want players who are going to actually swing at it. You need someone who's not all there a bit.
Miss him.
Like Carlos Alcaraz at Everton. He's got a bit of screw loose. He'd be good.
Screw loose. I don't know about two players fighting, but did you see Atlanta's his red card?
That was good. That was a good head loss.
The best
is a
head
good
loss I've
head
ever
loss.
seen.
You've never seen anything like that, have you? Where he's gone to throw the ball.
Best in a long time. He was
Made
so
it right
embarrassed.
He's embarrassed himself.
He's embarrassed
by falling
himself.
over.
He's
And
like, right, I'm just going to charge at him.
Just turned into like the edge and speared
I'm
him.
trying to think of players I would like to see go at it. Are we talking current players?
Yeah,
In or past, yeah.
in what's the lightest boxing weight? Is it
Featherweight?
featherweight? Like
Got it?
Enzo Lafia against Gustavo Hayama. They can be the undercard.
Oh, you're talking like you want to now go from one to let's have 5 and we'll build up to a
Yeah. We'll make a night of it.
Hey, you listen, Eddie Hearn. We've got this sorted. Just trying to think of like some real, like, John Terry Wainbridge.
That would be
I could imagine a full-on fight.
that would be a Tyson Paul thing, wouldn't it? It'd just be a disgrace. See,
Yeah, can you imagine though?
cast it like this.
If they were playing on opposite teams and the ref was and they just started scrapping, the ref was like, right, you've got 5 minutes. Settle your differences. Off you go.
I'm going to think about who I'd like, and I'm going to get answers at the end.
Like Roy Keane, Erling Haaland's dad, somebody like that.
Yeah, Erling Haaland's dad. He's got a name.
I can't remember his first name though. So
dear.
he's Erling Haaland's dad.
Papa.
Papa Haaland.
Right, we'll go. We'll circle back to this at the end to get
Yeah,
a
have a little
banking
think.
business meeting to, because we'll come up with our top ones this weekend. Who wants to kick us off?
Well, I've only got one strong fancy, so
Go for the
try
strong
to just put
fancy.
it in straight away.
For it.
I did look. It's so annoying. We mentioned it ages ago about early kickoffs and moved games. There's only 29 games available for us. Of what is it?
Just 29 to pick 4 out of.
Of 46. But wait, so 29 of 46. What's that? 17 games gone because of our stupid rules.
We're not doing any kickoffs.
Please. All right. But Birmingham, Leeds, Sheffield United, Sunderland, Walsall, Crewe, all not available. Those are like staple teams.
You also couldn't have Sheffield United or Leeds because they play each other.
Monday.
Just saying, it's really
I
tough
get
for
you.
us. It's tough for us, Duff man.
Okay, I'll go on.
Did you find the slate tough? Because Jimmy messaged
He hadn't even looked at
Like,
the
I haven't
slate.
even looked.
He hadn't even
I
looked.
didn't work yesterday. I was just strolling.
You going in
I
the
just
blind?
wandered around Leeds instead.
Went library, didn't you?
Went library.
Did you?
That was nice. Went to the armories. But it's half term. I didn't really realise it was half term. It's just
It's a bit busy.
kids. Yeah. Just trying to look at some armoury. World War II guns. Leave me alone. So that was a shame. Slate wise, no idea.
No idea.
No idea. Any other
You weren't a big
verdicts?
fan, were you?
Oh, I hated it so much.
I ended up with like 6 or 7 that I thought could all. I've got a couple of yellow highlights ones to maybe avoid, but yeah, go on. You go with your strongest fancy.
Notts County, home to Tranmere.
Yeah, I've got this one.
I think that's a.
Yeah, you've got this one. I thought you didn't have any.
Just going to say that to any I kind of agree with straight away.
Only stand out for me. They've won 8 of their last 12, most points in League 2 over that period. Level with Bradford. Over the same period, Tranmere have only taken 7 points. Worst travellers in the league. They've only won 2 of 15 games, 8 points on the road. Yes.
I've got this. Yep, I can get on board with this one. Notts County, do we think they can go on and win the league?
I Yeah, I don't see a reason.
Walsall are crumbling.
Yeah,
Walsall are crumbling. Not
Yeah.
the one last time out, but they're crumbling.
Yeah,
they're
they're
behind in that game.
I think
Feeling low.
as long as Notts County finish in the top 3. As long as they finish in the top 3, they're happy. But it's just so tight up there, isn't it? It's a really
9
good
points
title
between
race.
them and Walsall at the top.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Walsall's capitulation and the chasing pack, just how tight it is. Because in an ideal scenario, you get to the final game and there's about 8 teams who could win the league. That's what I
All
want.
go up automatically, yeah.
Yeah.
Be a great final day. But yeah, at the other end, Tranmere are massively looking over the shoulders. Just flick that right to the bottom, Jim. Let's have a look at the table. Bit quicker than that, please, bud. Yeah, they are 2 points above the dotted line. Having played... Oh, they've got a game in hand. But it's just looking very desperate for them. Worst travellers in the league, as Jim said. 2 wins, two draws, 11 defeats. They've lost 9 straight away from home as well. Conceded 22 goals in that time. So they are just a bad, bad team.
Is Nigel Atkins still the manager?
Yeah.
And did you know, after his gun trial acquittal, ASAP Rocky is edging closer to purchasing Tranmere?
Yeah, I did see this.
So does that change it at all?
Not really.
Really? He probably hopes to go down so he can buy him cheaper.
Well, to be fair,
Rebuild him like Rex.
he is an avid follower of the National
He must be.
I like that. The first thing that thought after that, I must now go and buy Tranmere Rovers.
No, he called his he made or anointed his lawyer ASAP lawyer, which I was like, all right, fair enough. He must have done a good job. Give him a little nickname.
nickname.
Yeah,
Good then, first pick.
Like an 8 to 13. Yeah, big.
First pick, nice and easy price, isn't it? 8-13 to kick us off then. First pick of this week's Acca from Sky Bet League 2, Notts County to beat Tranmere. Solid first start then. Where would we like to go next? Take it away. Anyone?
Might get shot down here, but I quite like Bournemouth at the prices to beat Wolves, 13 to
It's
20.
the only one in the Premier League I'd get on board with, I think.
Yeah. Wolves' record against the best teams is really bad. I know they were good last week against Liverpool in the second half, but everyone kind of forgets the first half they were really bad. They conceded twice, probably could have conceded more. But against the current top 7, Wolves have lost 11 of 12 with their only point coming against Nottingham Forest early in the season. Yeah, I'm willing to give, almost dock points from last week's performance because they played a Liverpool team who were already tiring. They've had so many games and they're coming off the back of a Merseyside derby, which was physically and emotionally draining for them. And then you got Bournemouth on the other side, have won 6 of the last 10 home league games, only lost twice. And in total, they've only lost 1 of the last 15 across all competitions, which was against Liverpool. Won 10 of those 15. Third best team on the underlying data. Ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea were 2-5 to beat Wolves. Ahead of Man City and ahead of Newcastle. Again, Newcastle were 2-5 to beat Wolves under Vito Pereira. So I think that the price is a little bit too big for Bournemouth, even though it is a short price. I know you wanted him in last week. I was all on board with getting him in last week at 1-2. Similar-ish price. Wolves is probably slightly better than Southampton. Well, probably quite a lot bit better. But
Bit better.
Bournemouth are also at home, which is a massive difference.
Well, Shimrod, I know you said that you wanted him last week. Is it still the case this time around?
It was more about getting against Southampton at any given opportunity last week. Apart from I don't want Southampton in this week, but I don't know. I'd just be a little bit uneasy about Wolves' sort of uptick since the new man's come in.
What uptick?
Well, they're conceding less shots. They're conceding less goals on average. They're becoming more tight unit defensively. I know improvement wasn't exactly hard to come by given what state O'Neill left them in, but they have still improved and they have still got some talented boys in attack, particularly Cunha, who's more than capable of hurting any team in the league, as he showed against Liverpool on Sunday with a terrific goal. Terrific. But I found the slate rotten, so I'd be happy to defer to your judgment, Duffman, here. To be honest,
We could have it, but we'd have to then accept that we're going to have to
There's a big
can't have
price
too
cut.
many shorties.
There's a big one coming.
From
is that your
there on.
favourite pick?
My favourite pick.
Is that yours? Would that be in your Anaka you were making your send like?
Let me check what I've put in my Acca. I've already done it.
I'm just not getting a lot of positivity from your argument.
Yeah, what's the strongest argument?
Yeah, do you know
the
what I mean?
strongest.
I don't think you're
Bournemouth are in mine. I put Bournemouth in. I'm gonna put them up in my column as well. Probably -1 handicap. Because I do think that they are there's a great piece on site. Alex Kebble's written about why Bournemouth are just so difficult to play against. It's because they're so unpredictable. And I think that while ever, you say Wolves have tightened up at the back, they're coming up against a chaotic Bournemouth team that no one knows how to stop, really. So I think Bournemouth's going to score a couple of goals against Wolves.
And then do you not think Wolves are going to score a couple of goals?
No, I don't. I just thought the price was too big, based on the fact that, as I said, Wolves went to Newcastle with 2-5. Bournemouth are a better team than Newcastle. Bournemouth are a bigger price to beat Wolves.
Bournemouth beat Newcastle convincingly.
Absolutely smashed them to pieces, yeah. And they drew with Chelsea at Chelsea last time they played. Chelsea with the same price at Wolves. So in terms of prices, I thought it was a big price. And like I said, Bournemouth are just mad form. Wolves are terrible against the best teams. Get found out. I still think they're lacking. So, yeah, if you're not having that one, why don't we go big price then? Because one of my favourite picks is actually Shrewsbury. Getting back on Shrewsbury train against Stevenage at 21-10. They obviously had that heroic display for us against Mansfield, didn't they? They went to Rotherham and won. Drew at Reading, which are a good home team. They absolutely hammered Bolton. Really unfortunate to lose that. And then were beaten at home by Huddersfield in a tight game in midweek. And then Stevenage have just hit the skids, winless in 4, 3 defeats, played 3 of the bottom 5 in that time, 14 points from 14 away games all season, scored just 8 times. I think it's a massive opportunity for Shrewsbury to get a win on the board, and I think another one's coming.
17-10 is the issue, though, no?
Was it shortened even more?
Shortened even more.
Jesus.
Do we think that's still value at 17-10? Because now we're just going to a very standard pick-em sort of price when you're going for both of those at that.
That's been smashed in.
Been absolutely.
I had it in my notes at, 3.1? 3.3 when I put it in.
It was 3.3, it moved.
I'm not having it at that price. Because if nothing else, all we can do is pick prices that we like. What do we have if we don't pick prices that we like?
So
what do we have?
They're actually favourites.
Nothing?
Nothing.
There we go.
I mean, I still think they'll win, but I do think the price move is a little bit extreme.
Yeah, fuck that one then. What about back to Bournemouth? Are you having it?
I could have it.
I could have it.
I think the thing is, though, then we need to be prepared that then, for value-wise, that we're going to have to push roughly around even money for the couple of others.
Yeah. We can do that.
Well, should we do it? I think we liked Bournemouth.
Yeah. We did, didn't we?
We did like Bournemouth.
You weren't very convincing.
Sorry.
I didn't even know you believed in the pick yourself.
I had to double check if I backed it in my Acca, and I have.
Even backed it.
I have. 8-13, I got it on 365.
Right, executive decision, yes.
Bournemouth
You
in.
said executive decision.
And then
You were going to make the decision.
Yeah, all right, executive.
Oh, the
yes.
executive.
Second pick then of this week's Acca, joining Notts County to beat, who was at Tranmere. We're going to the Premier League. It's Bournemouth to beat Wolves. To give it the countdown analogy, it's one from the top, one from the bottom. That we're doing.
You're good.
How did I come up with that, hey, Jim Rod? How did I come up with that? What about Portsmouth to beat QPR? Any thoughts on this one, with it being at Flatton Park? Portsmouth, a bit of a kind of weird period where they'll win a couple, lose a couple, but then you kind of focus on the fact that the home games were the element of winning the couple. Lost heavily at West Brom. Millwall turned up and beat them, which I don't think too many people expected. Gonna shock you here. They drew 0-0 with Burnley. Which, I know, doesn't happen often. Played very well at Bramall Lane. Were unfortunate not to get something from there. Since then, beat Cardiff, which you obviously had them in a recent Acca. Turned up and beat Oxford as well, who have been very, very solid under Gary Rowett. They play a QPR side who, at one point I was thinking, playoff potential with this team. They have kind of turned things around, and then since then it's not kind of been consistency enough. Lost to Sheffield Wednesday, a loss away at Millwall. They've turned up and lost at Coventry as well. Beat Derby at home. Everyone's beaten Derby at home. Won't worry about that. I know they had the managerial change, of course, but it just feels that, just at the price of 7-5, Portsmouth at home to Fratton Park just feels a bit of an Acca booster. Boom.
Kabusi.
Don't say that. They don't sponsor us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Jimmy, you were on board with this.
I was nodding.
Yeah.
But I hate it.
Oh, wow.
I really don't want to get out against QPR at the minute. They're flying, aren't they?
No.
They've hit the brakes, mate.
They've lost 3 of the last 5.
Flying.
They're flying at home.
All right, so coming at this obviously with nothing, because I just thought QPR were flying, does it not just stink of a draw?
I thought it was the price was a bit short on Portsmouth, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think the price is short as well, actually.
Yeah, stinks of a draw as well, actually. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about QPR's form. I think Tom makes a good point that they probably are going to regress a little bit. And Portsmouth did play very well at Bramall Lane. So I'm not completely against it. I just thought that maybe about 6-4, probably.
So the thinking is Portsmouth's home form, right? Obviously, they're brilliant at Fratton Park, yeah?
Roughly, yes.
And QPR are a bit bad at the minute.
QPR are inconsistent at the minute. Yeah, they've lost games. I thought you were going to chuck something out that was going to trump everything I've just said, which is why I was hesitantly going, yeah, sort of.
Well, Portsmouth have won 7 and 16 at home, which is less than half.
But then you got to remember the start of the season. So in front of me, they've beaten Luton, beaten Derby,
Yep.
draws with Plymouth and Stoke.
Shit, yeah.
Only
lost one.
That is the recent home form is absolutely frightening.
Sorry, I was looking at QPR.
Seven home wins in the last 10 league games.
Portsmouth have drew with Luton, beat Cardiff, beat Stoke, beat Swansea, beat Preston, beat Middlesbrough in terms of teams who are currently 11th and below at home. Millwall are the only team that have beaten them. Luton got a 0-0 draw, but that was very early in the season, I think it was.
So all those 7 home wins you just said there have all come in the last 10 games.
Yeah, that is true.
So they like Tom said, the schedule at the start was really, really tough for them.
Ilias Chair's back, and he's back with a vengeance, though. Isn't he?
Where's he been?
Didn't he? Don't want to talk about his court case, actually.
Let's stay well clear of that. He was injured. He actually was.
That's what they want you to think, mate.
What about Coventry to beat Preston?
These are all so yucky, these. I really hate that one as well.
What about
Portsmouth and Coventry?
What about
have either?
West Brom at home to Oxford?
No. Why on earth would you want to get against Oxford?
Because they're awful away from home.
No, not
Won 1 of 16. Lost 9 of 16.
They've also drawn 4 of the last 5.
Yeah, but I'm glad you said that. Do you know who their 4 draws came against? Derby, Stoke, Plymouth and Preston, 15th and below.
Also drawn at Sheffield United.
How far away was that?
I'm on West Brom.
You're on West Brom. Yeah, Oxford are really bad travellers. West Brom have won 5 of the last 7 home games. They've only lost once against Blackburn. 8th best home team on the underlying data. 4-6. I thought it'd be about 1-2. Personally.
What? You thought that'd be 1-2?
Yeah. I don't think Oxford are as good as what the table suggests. Yeah, and away from home, Oxford's results are split nicely. They've had 9 defeats in 9 against top half teams, and they are 1 win, 6 draws, 1 defeat against bottom half teams. So when they play a top half,
they've lost 1 league away game since Gary Rowett came in.
And yeah, but what's the schedule saying? Who have they played?
Still only lost 1 of them.
I've just said that when they play a top half team, they lose. They've lost 9 out of 9.
And how many of them were under Gary Rowett?
I don't think that's going to matter. I think there's a big goal class difference.
You say it doesn't
between
matter.
Oxford and the
You say
top
it doesn't
half.
matter. It's a manager. It's like West Brom there. They've lost. You could say about the form, but they've won 2 of 3. So they've still lost 1 of 3 under Mowbray in home games.
So you don't want West Brom in?
I don't know.
I
don't hate it, but I think we can't just dismiss the managerial change thing. It's completely different how a team sets up. Oxford have been revolutionised under Gary Rowett, shall we say, even though they've not. They have tailed off a little bit. Yeah. I have nowhere else to go with that point. Anyone else?
Yeah, the win at Burnley at Turf Moor, obviously horrifically fine margin team, but that was an own goal that Burnley beat him with.
Yeah, that somehow landed the no first goal scorer. Has that ever happened? Is that the first time you've ever seen it happen?
Guess what? I backed that game. I thought, well, it's 2 points bigger. I may as well just have the 0-0.
Genius.
Felt absolutely
Greedy.
sick.
Genius.
Greedy boy.
We've said so many that.
I know, but
They're not scoring a lot of goals, Oxford, are they?
I'm going to be a pain in your arse this week, both of you, because I really hated the slate. But I can just see reasons not to put all these suggestions in an Acca. West Brom, why would you go against Oxford under Rowett? He has revolutionised them.
Good word.
Who was the other ones you suggested? I wouldn't want to go against Preston at the minute. I
also don't want to back Frank Lampard to succeed.
I
so-
know that's the same thing because he's a. Did you see the winner against Wednesday?
Yeah, well, it was
Oh,
Needles just dropped it to him, hadn't he? Yeah.
So I don't want to do that either. And then the other one, who was the other one?
Portsmouth.
God, we want to back Portsmouth.
I'm more on board with
QPR.
Portsmouth out a lot of them at the price.
What you got for us, Jim Rod?
Hey,
You got for us?
I knew you'd throw it back in my.
Yeah, what you got then?
All right, I've got a nice one. Actually. Leighton Orient 23-10 at Bolton.
I can get on board with that.
You went against, but you slagged Bolton a minute ago.
Yeah, no, I've got Orient down here. Yeah.
Who's their manager now at Bolton? It's Schumacher, innit?
Won the last 2 in the league under him.
Yeah, and he's slagged and rotten in both games. He said, I'm not happy with how we played in the first half of both games. You look at the game against Shrewsbury you just talked about, didn't you?
Got beat 2.2 to 0.9 on the XG.
I know.
1.
And the game flipped on its head when birthday boy Owen Toyle scored from range. Keeper should have saved it, and it just sort of swung the game. But bar that, 35-yard strike that bobbled into net.
Very good.
Would they have got back into that game? And that's against Shrewsbury, I would say,
What about the game before as well against Crawley?
batshit crazy. Lucky free kick that should have never have stood.
Yep.
Why was he allowed to take it quickly when Crawley wasn't set? Illegal.
And they were reduced to 10 men.
Go to prison.
Very late.
Guy in prison. Yeah, so I wouldn't be in a hurry to back Bolton, especially when the new manager is slagging the way they're playing when he's responsible for telling them how to play. Leighton Orient. Yeah, what's their record like? Has anyone got their record?
They are
Orient?
unbeaten in the last 10 away games in all competitions, Leighton Orient, of which 7 have been wins in 90 minutes. 2 of those include whatever the hell the checker trade's called now. So we will be including that because it suits the
Usually
argument.
V, doesn't it, or something like that? Now?
Cerveza Crystal.
That popped up the other day on my feed.
I saw you retweet it, yeah.
I retweet it.
Watching, we're going to have to watch someone get back upstairs, aren't we?
It's there. We should start laying in ads for other things in our show like that.
Just randomly in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You reach for we could do this Cerveza Crystal one where you reach for your drink there and it just cuts to a very zoomed in hand and it is.
Cerveza Crystal.
They are very good at the moment, Leighton Orient. I know they had the mini
Wrexham
wobble,
in
but that
midweek.
was against Stockport and Manchester City, which they scored a wonder goal to go ahead.
Toe with Manchester City.
Toe to toe with
Winners.
mid-table Premier League outfit,
No, no,
Manchester City.
Been out of
Yeah, turned up at Wrexham. That's obviously big, as we've just said there. Convincing wins over Mansfield. They were in very comfortable control against Lincoln and ended up being closer than it should have been, but they did win that game. And it is a big old price. The more I look at it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
Last 10 away games, they've not lost. Did you just say that? Sorry.
That was his first point.
Oh,
He's got Cerveza
man.
Crystal in
What
you.
a point that is. You know, they beat Wrexham in that time.
How many Cerveza Crystals have we drank in that time? It's a big price, 23 to 10.
Across the last...
Is it worth opposing Bolton in case, even if they win this weekend, but it's fluky again, then we just keep going and going and going and going and going.
Come
And then if they're very good, you go, fair enough.
Yeah, if they suddenly turn good, we'll say, well,
But are they going to be as good as Leighton Orient? Because Leighton Orient have got the second best record in the last 15 games behind only Birmingham. They've won 12 of their last 15 league games, lost only once.
and I'm just looking here. Did you know they're unbeaten in the last 10 away from
Beaten
home?
in 10 away.
If you've got a good stat for me about their away form, you can have it.
No, sorry.
Oh, that's
Shit, they've dick Stockport away as well.
23 to 10. Are they still 23 to 10 or has that moved as well?
Oh, they're
23
still
to
10. 10.
Excellent. Yeah, get them in. I think this is huge value.
Where does that pop us?
Well, I will tell you, Jim Rod, the Acca that currently stands at Notts County to beat Tranmere, Bournemouth to beat Wolves, and then Leighton Orient to beat Bolton, treble above 7.5 to 1.
Shit, how have we done that? We're 1 to 2 shout. We're good.
We've got a nice treble so far then, so we can kind of play around with the final team to make it above that 10 to 1 kind of margin.
You've got to make it above 10 to 1.
Yeah, because what's the
You've
point?
got to.
What's the point otherwise?
I don't want 9.5. Keep
No.
your money.
You want to win 100 quid from a tenner.
Where should we go?
League One. I think we should live in League One for the rest of the podcast. That's all right.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, or just that league?
I think it's my favourite league, I think. Although League Two's competitive, League One's just got
Confidence,
Evans.
more confidence.
right, so I've got 2 options here. Charlton at home to Exeter, Wickham at home to Wigan.
Put them both in.
Like
23
them
to
both.
1. Let's have it.
Can we? Actually, don't think can we put them both in?
I just don't see the point of taking the piss by putting more teams in.
Please. What do you mean taking the piss?
It's just
Taking the
more-
piss out of
more
who?
Jeopardy.
Oh.
Ourselves.
Don't you dare mock Jeopardy.
Don't we
They'll
put a
get
bigger
you.
price on the article on site as well?
Yeah, if I can
Might
be
feature
bothered.
A couple of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Bothered?
Nah.
Seeing how the sausage gets made, people.
14 to 1 if we have Wickham.
You'd be
Just shy of about 13 to 1 if we take Charlton, 14 to 1 if we take Wickham. Talk to me about both of these games. It's effectively a case of good home teams against middling away teams. Wickham, very good in midweek against Bristol Rovers. Mike Dodd's now in charge, of course, there. Your one line and your notes, would you like to reveal that, Jim Rod, as well?
King Kone should be back.
And they've managed to get by without him.
Mhm.
On that one, Charlton, not a great deal more, just know they're a good home team. Exeter, not particularly great travellers.
Yep. Basically, Charlton won 9 of their 16 home games. They've only lost twice. 5th best record, 5th best on underlying process at home. Exeter, the 3rd worst travellers. They've had 2 wins away from home in 9 since the October international break, but they came against Burton, who were 21st, Cambridge, who were 24th. They had a draw in that time as well against Peterborough, who were 20th. 6 defeats, 5 of those against top 8. So whenever Exeter play away at a big team or a good team, unsurprisingly get beaten. That's the case for Charlton. You want to take Wickham other than just Kone's back?
King Kone should be
He
back.
should be back, yeah. He was in training, weren't he, this week? We don't know if he's going to start, but even the lad who's been playing up front, what's his name? Is it Udo?
Daniel Adoa.
Yeah. He scored a couple of goals, hasn't he?
Yeah, he sure has. Yeah. It's just more about Wigan. Nothing really. Nothing that would infuse you about getting them on side in a betting sense. And I thought Wickham were a surprisingly big price to say that they're up there.
No win in the last 5. That includes losing at Peterborough, who
Peterborough are rubbish.
they're shit. Drew at Crawley, drew at home to Lincoln, lost at Stockport. Obviously, Premier League Fulham were in that run as well. They did beat Stevenage away, did beat Rotherham away, did beat Bolton away, but I think the context of Rotherham's season, Bolton under Ian Evatt at that stage, and Stevenage as well, who we spoke about earlier, have not been playing particularly well. To me, it just feels like it just feels too obvious. Is that a worry? It feels too obvious.
It's too obvious.
Feels too obvious.
Who would you rather out of these two? Wickham or Charlton? Wickham a slightly bigger price, aren't they? Charlton. Wickham are... Wait a minute. Wickham are above Charlton in the table.
How's that working?
Bigger price?
Well, a different manager, though, isn't it? I suppose. There's still got to be some settling in after Bloomfield left and they had an interim period and then obviously Dodds took the job.
Why on earth did Bloomfield do that?
Yeah, we messaged you about this, didn't I, last week?
Yeah.
It's the Stoke dilemma. I can fix them.
I can fix
I can fix them. Oh, we've drawn at home to Plymouth. I can't fix you. You're fucked.
They're still bottom, aren't they, at
Yeah.
Champ?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Back to back. We're going back to back, baby.
They get second team, potentially.
Who was
All the way up,
first
all the
who
way
did
down.
Back-to-backer?
Sunderland.
Done. Weren't it?
Not Wyndon.
Not Wyndon. That's the only
the
reason
whole
I know.
point.
That's the whole point.
I mean, from Premier League to League One, the last team that did it was Sunderland, wasn't it?
Sunderland.
Sunderland, because they had the Netflix documentary there with the intention of charting a Premier League club in their aim to get back into the Premier League, having suffered relegation. And what they got was a much better documentary where they were awful. It was hilarious behind the scenes.
Favourite moment from that documentary?
Either the pounding techno before the match,
That was good.
That was good.
Ibrahimovic on the scouting list.
About Chris Coleman picking a fight with a fan.
Yeah, I've got 6 kids or something.
100 kids.
Yeah, it's got to do with anything, mate. Or the deadline day of Will Grigg and Phil Parkinson, was it going? He's just not worth any more than 1.5. Don't pay any more than 1.5. The manager's he's not worth it. Just not worth it. Don't worry. Okay, yeah. And then it can't have been Parkinson. I can't remember who it was. Whoever was there anyway. No, the Scottish bloke, was it? Fucking God knows. I've had so many managers. Anyway, that's not the point. And then the bloke's going, put 4 in. Put 4 in. Put 4 in, yeah. It might have been actually because that's when the League One, wouldn't they? And they ended up spending $4 million. And his argument was, what if he comes on in the playoff final and scores the winner? It'll be worth every penny. I went to that playoff final. He came off the bench. I cannot stress how little Will Grigg did to influence the game. And the entire argument was wasted.
Who was the gaffer?
I can picture his face now. It's the Scottish guy.
I couldn't tell you. That playoff final was when there was that free cone goal, weren't it?
Yeah, Charlton.
Keepers having a drink.
So yeah, same as Lee Burr. I was looking at my laptop typing away, and then you just heard the ah, and the same with Charlton as well. Lee Burr, you said it was Jack Ross.
That's him.
Was in charge.
That's him.
Yeah,
I could never have named him.
Came over from was it
Scotland? It was Jack Ross was in charge, and then he didn't get them up, did he? I don't think. And then they then had Phil Parkinson in, who I think was the voice on the Netflix documentary telling him, please don't spend any more than a million and a half on this. Have I missed any? Any of yours favourite moments?
No, that it was Coleman for me when he had picked that fight with a fan. Well, the fan was giving it some chip too, but I got 17 children.
Which team do we settle on here? Wickham.
I think Wickham personally, but I like them both. I wouldn't be too fussed either way.
You're not going to be sick if one of them wins and one of them doesn't, and the one that doesn't we've got in.
Well, that's just gambling,
Game,
baby.
innit? That's the game. I think Wickham obviously are the better team than Charlton. They're playing two teams that are very similar at level.
Oh, fuck it, why don't we just put both in? Why
I'm not going to stop you.
Why don't we just put both in? If we're going, oh, well, we like them both, but which one do we like them more? Why don't we just put them both in then? And instead of doing the long shot thing, here's the Acca, it's a bigger price.
Saves you a
Enjoy
job
it.
as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically, I can't be bothered writing more. It's 20, just shy of 23s now, depending on if the price holds. Maybe 25s on the boost we could ask for. If not, 22s if it shortens in by Friday midday. It's currently, like, say, just shy of 23 to 1 at a best price. Most others go 20s, 21 to 1. And frankly, if we like both teams, why don't we just put both in?
With the form we're in, I'd be shocked if Sky give us more than 10 to 1.
It's nice to see that, it's not got to us. And on the Haaland-Gabriel thing, stay humble. That's basically it.
What a nice way to link it all back.
What a nice way to link it all back.
Who you'd like to see.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask now. I'd like main event, ex-current footballers. You can have anyone you want. Who's headlining your... I can't remember what we called it. But
Fight night.
Football fight night.
Hit it to the left. Well, obvious answer, Roy Keane Vieira.
Yeah, that would be classic.
A little bit older.
You know what? I think that'd be your Joshua Fury. I don't think it'll ever happen. You know that? It would never happen. They'd say, oh, it would never happen.
All the talk.
Keep dodging, oh, I can't do this. I just don't think it would ever happen. It'd be that, the one we never got sort of vibe before it happened.
Yeah, I quite like that Vieira shout. Vieira and Keane, because they did not like each other. They still don't really. They're still a bit awkward.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Still waiting for your... Jake, you still going Haaland, Gabriel?
I think so, yeah, because it's so fresh in the memory, and you can clearly see they don't like each other, and they're just massive bodies, and I think they'd be a massive heavyweight fight.
I've got a good one. Anyone versus Cucurella. Several people versus Cucurella.
Yeah, because it'd be good because he'd definitely lose.
What about Maddison versus Morpie? Morpie were giving him the shit for his celebration.
That'd be good.
A little bit of to and fro.
I've got one that would be an all-timer, and I'd label it Battle of the Baldies. We'd have...
Who?
Yap Stam versus Thomas Gravison. I'd like to see that, because Gravison apparently just absolute nut job, wasn't he?
Absolute cannon.
Anytime you hear podcast stories about him and his time at Celtic and stuff like that, he was just a lunatic. It would be so good.
Just search now on your computer, Thomas Gravison fighting, and it comes up with him just beating up all the Real Madrid Galacticos. Yeah,
it's same at Celtic. He's just like,
what are you doing?
He's just got youth academy players just going, and it's like a game to him, and they don't quite get it.
Throw it to the comments as well. Anyone who's got any good football rivalries between players that you'd like to see scrap out in a full-on NHL hockey style referee, just let him go for 5 minutes.
I was just trying to think then. Teo Hernandez versus
Dumfries.
Dumfries, that'd be a good one.
Oh, mate, that tifo that they put up of Dumfries.
So disrespectful.
Wait, which way around was it? Was it Hernandez holding Dumfries or?
They're both done versions. I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you the origin. I couldn't. I just know I'm having red card each player every time they play.
Single time. What are we down? Probably about
$1 million.
Yeah, it's never won, has it?
No, it never will.
Right then, let's round off and get the hell out of here. We've settled on the fivefold then.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Why not?
Fivefold then for this week's Acca. Just shy of 23-1. We're taking Bournemouth to beat Wolves. We have Leyton Orient to beat Bolton, Wycombe to beat Wigan, and Charlton to beat Exeter. And in League 2, Notts County to beat Tranmere. Fingers crossed on that one. Feeling quite confident about it. Remember to keep it fun, never bet more you can afford it, and please gamble responsibly. As I said before, head over to sportinglife.com/football. You'll be able to find the link to back that at an enhanced price around midday on Friday. And if you haven't already, please follow and rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your chosen podcast provider. We'll be back, hopefully with some football fight night that we can show you. PPV, pay-per-view, $15.99.
We could set that up.
Yeah, we could.
Let's talk about that. We'll be back next week.